Hello friends, so welcome to this demo Cosmos DB. So in this particular demo we'll discuss, first of all we'll create a Cosmos DB database, and then we discuss about how we can provide the role-based access, and the third thing we'll discuss about the firewall and virtual network settings like we have discussed in the our SQL database. So let's go to the Azure portal and try to create a Cosmos DB database. So let's move to the Azure portal and then go to the Cosmos DB, and we'll create a new Cosmos database over here. So we'll choose the same resource group, security architects resource group, sa-cosmos db 489, the name I'll choose, and then you can choose core SQL or Cassandra, whichever flavor you want to choose. You can choose from that as your table. So I'll choose the core SQL only for this particular demo, and I'm not going to touch this Apache Spark option, and the location I'll be using is East US, and then let all the these options remain as it is, and click on networking. So I'll choose the option as all network, then click on review and create. It takes generally 10 to 15 minutes to create this particular Cosmos DB account. So once it is created, we can discuss the different options. So till the point deployment is going on, so I'm going to pause the video. So once it's get deployed, so I'll come back. Now our Cosmos DB has been database or account has been ready. Now we can create containers within that. So this is our Cosmos DB, and we can basically add a container into that, uh, because in case of Cosmos DB the data is stored within the containers only. So you can provide a name, you can provide a throughput ID, all these information you can provide it from here. So we are not going to create any container over here, but we'll discuss about the different security options we have in case of Cosmos DB account. So the first one which I will discuss is, because that is when you need to connect to your Cosmos DB account. So first one is the firewall and a virtual network settings. So herein you can basically restrict that, okay, which all network or selected network should be having access. So all network we are allowing the access from the internet as well. So do not choose this option when you are onto the internet unless there's a specific requirement. So here also we can provide access to specific virtual network as well, that okay, from which all virtual networks this Cosmos DB data should be, Cosmos DB account should be accessible. So we can provide those options, and then we can provide IP or CIDR ranges which should be able to basically connect our Cosmos DB account. And then these are the options we need to check, that okay, allow access from the Azure portal or accept connections from within public Azure data centers only. So this is basically how we can restrict access, that okay, who all will be able to connect our Cosmos DB database. So because these are the layered security approaches we are discussing about. And then we have is the we'll discuss about the role-based access control in case of Azure, in case of our Cosmos DB. So you can click on account, uh, identity and access management, click on add. The one thing which I would like you guys to pay attention is, like we discussed in case of Azure SQL and other, when we provided IAM roles. So generally you get both kind of options providing access to the management plane, uh, control plane, or you can say to the data plane. But here, if you'll see, pay a close attention to the roles which are given: owner, contributor, reader, or a Cosmos DB account reader role, then again Cosmos DB operator role, right? And if you'll see the description, if you want, that all the rules, they are allowing you to manage your Cosmos DB account, not the data within that, right? So that is one thing we need to understand, that role assignments which are in when you provide in case of Cosmos DB, they are basically scope to provide access to control plane only, which include access to your Cosmos accounts, databases, containers, right? But this data plane operations basically are secured using the master keys or your resource tokens. So how you can access your master keys or your resource tokens? Basically, data access within the Cosmos DB is basically managed by the master keys we are having. So if you'll click on keys on the left hand side, so this is how we can provide the role-based access like to any of the Active Directory user. So just give me a moment, I'll come back to the keys option. So let's say if I want to provide contributor access to one of my user Jakpal, I'll click out over here, and then it's pretty simple to do that. So now I provided a contributor access to the Jakpal, which is an, you can say, as your Active Directory user. So this is how we can, but again, Jakpal will be having access to manage the control plane only. No data plane role is provided in case of Azure Cosmos DB. Till this point of time, we are recording the video. Now, to really check that, okay, master keys which provide access to your administrative resources of the database account. Basically, it provide access to your accounts, databases, users, permission, right? But again, it cannot be used to provide access to containers or documents within the DB, which are basically provided by the resource tokens. So there are, if you'll click on keys, you'll be able to see URI, which will be used to access your Cosmos DB, then primary key and a secondary key. Then these are the connection strings. See, primary and secondary key again, these keys are used so that you can regenerate, roll back, so that a continuous access is provided to your account and data. So these are the basically master keys which are used to provide access to your various administrative resources like accounts, databases, users, permissions, and again will not be able to provide access to your containers or documents. And they are created once the during the creation of your Cosmos DB account only. So it consists of two keys like we discussed, primary and a read-only key. So these keys are basically read-write keys and they are read-only keys. So this is it, friends. In this lecture, we have discussed about how we can create the Azure Cosmos DB account, then the firewall and virtual network settings. We discussed about the role-based access, and we discussed about the master keys. So thank you, friends. Thank you for watching this lecture.